Welcome everybody here to the defense. That's right, it's powered by Own3D TV and supported by Razer, which just makes it awesome. I'm your host here, Toby Wakanobi. I am slightly awesome, but the man who makes me even more awesome, that is right, he is like my Robin to my Batman, my Catwoman to my Batman, my Joker also to my Batman. I have this fetish for being Batman. Syndrome Man, welcome to the commentary box.
Catwoman?
I don't know. I've never seen you dress up with leather. Possibly could have used a whip on the back of you to help you perform a little bit better at the international. Not during the last game though. You were good during the last
game. You've come up with some good introductions. This was not really one of the better ones. Anyway,
thanks, man. Thanks.
Catwoman is the closest you come to Queen of Pain, so I guess that's not too bad. All right. Omni Knight is being banned off by the Dire. Of course, we've got EHOME on the TG side. Wait a second, I've got to close this down this window. Yep, there we go. On the Radiant side, TEG, banning off the Prophet. And, well, yeah, it looks like when looking over the EHOME roster, I've heard some stuff about EHOME going to disband and whatnot, but to me it seems like they've got the complete roster here.
The whole thing's about EHOME disbanding. It's just people gossiping about the fact because there was something that happened at the World Cyber Games in Indonesia recently where there was a bit of a blow-up between one of the players. Was a report from one of the spectators there. It was never confirmed at anything. It's just one of the guys said, oh, he pushed him. Or something like that. They said there was a physical confrontation on the main stage. And that was all we heard. That was all we heard at that point. But no, there's been nothing official come through. There's been rumors of people wanting the EHOME roster to change because it has been very, well, not stable of late. Like, the roster has been stable, but the team as a team playing has not been as stable, so people would like the roster to actually change around. There was like rumors about it actually switching up with IG, with a couple of their teams and 2 players coming in, 2 players going out, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, all we know is they want to focus on Dota 2. That is official. They are basically playing Dota 1 where they can, but Dota 2 is where they want to focus their time, and they're here doing that here at the defense.
All right. So yeah, that clears up a few things. I guess the thing I read about IG dropping one of their teams to only have one team is confirmed, though. That's coming out of IG. So that's legit news from the Chinese scene. Is that correct?
Yes, actually, yeah, I heard that as well.
Okay. We'll go with that for now. We've got a few bans and picks to catch up on. Of course, as said, we've got Omni Knight banned out from the Dire EHOME. They banned Chen along with that as well. So a lot of healing power going away for the Radiant, should they want to pick that up. Response, Prophet, as well as Night Stalker banned by the Radiant. Very common bans these days in Dota 2. And Broodmother, instant first pick coming out of EHOME. And, well, that Broodmother is annoying. I like to call it the cancer of Dota. I hate it. I hate playing against it. And sometimes, I mean, sometimes you're going to have to. Sometimes you can counter it very effectively, but its mere presence on the map is just piss annoying, and we're going to see how TEG deal with that. Obviously, the TEG players will definitely have played against this hero a lot, especially players like Frieza and Lion, who go way back in the competitive scene, will have gone through versions in which Broodmother was popular, and versions in which it wasn't as popular. But they're going to have to deal with it now in Dota 2 in the hands of somebody from EHOME. The response from the Radiant took quite a while to come up with Earthshaker as well as Crystal Maiden. They actually used half their extra time for that. While EHOME, not hesitating too much, getting their hands on Lich as well as Anti-Mage. And interestingly enough, Lich actually goes to a 3rd pick. We often see that picked up right away.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Like, the Dire has got like the best hard carry in the game. For me, I do class Lich as the best supporter to a hard carry. Through that sacrifice, so Anti-Mage can have a great time, and then Broodmother with the pressure on the side lane. If you could actually ask for a better start for EHOME, I don't think you could. The only thing I'm worried about EHOME right now is that they're going to show their hand pretty early on the piece, and the Radiant will have time. Like, they picked up 2 support heroes, they still actually have time to actually go. And I actually have a question for you too, Sin. Earthshaker's ultimate, it stacks on the Spiderlings, but if the Spiderlings are invis, does it still stack?
Oh, mechanic stuff like that is not really my specialty, but I doubt it does.
In that case, question for the guys in the IRC chat over in QuakeNet. IRC chat, join Dota. Question for you guys. Let's see if we can get ourselves an answer for that.
I am pretty sure that the Echo Slam does not work on targets you can't see, but the Aftershock effect obviously does, because you can kill people with Aftershock when at least... Oh, wait, I might even be wrong about that. I'm not sure about that at all. but some people out there will definitely know. There's often some guys who are very much into the mechanics and specialized in details about spells, and we'll see if anybody can come up with that. We'll have a look at the chat once in a while during this draft to find out what people have to say about that. Yeah, Sand King as well as Slardar being removed by the Dire, so 2 strength initiators being thrown away here. Slardar, very good hero to have against Broodmother, first of all, for the true side of amplified damage, and of course the amplified damage on Anti-Mage as well. Anti-Mage obviously very resistant to spells. He's got 62% spell resistance with the spell shield on level 4. So lowering his armor and just pounding him down is a great approach to actually taking him out, because obviously spells are going to have a really hard time doing so. Not available though, banned by EHOME. Response from the Radiant has been banning out Tidehunter, the big team fighter, as well as Vengeful Spirit, great support hero, stun, terror, swap, all that jazz. And well, yeah, some good bans from both sides. And perhaps the question is, with that Tidehunter ban from the Radiant, are they going to take a team fight approach with their Earthshaker and really try to excel there? They're going to have a hard time though, because EHOME can spread out pressure really well. They've got Anti-Mage, great pushing hero once he gets that Battle Fury, or well, some other items. You have to have 2 or more heroes to actually bring him down in a gank, so he takes a lot of attention. Broodmother takes a lot of attention somewhere else. And then, even then, you've got Windrunner, who also takes a lot of attention somewhere else, pushing out all the lanes. This EHOME team is going to be very hard to actually team up against.
That it will be. I was actually expecting something along the lines of, I was going to throw it randomly out there, Pugna or Darkseid actually help with this. Well, I know it's going to be coming from the Broodmother with a big push, not to mention the help to actually stack for the big team fights. But they come up with Doombringer as an answer, and for the second time today, we see a Doombringer when we have not seen a Doombringer in any of the Dota 2 competitions for months. It never appeared once during the BenQ tournament. ESWC, my brain does not recollect any Doombringer. I think the only time Doom was picked up in a competitive game was back at the International.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I scratched a little bit with my microphone there, but yeah, trends come and go, and a very legitimate pick from the Radiant here, Doombringer with that Doom ability. Morphling also, nice. Alright, this is going to be some really good shit to be watching. Doombringer, I think the primary reason for picking him is as a hard counter to Anti-Mage. Of course, the Doom ability will lock him down effectively for a very long period of time, disabling Anti-Mage from blinking. Of course, the Doom ability itself doesn't really deal any damage to Anti-Mage with that huge spell resistance, but it allows the other heroes on the Radiant side to get in and deal a lot of damage. They've got double agility, well, Morphling arguably not long range, but double agility ranged heroes to deal the damage. Great teamfight setup with Shaker, Crystal Maiden for the aura and the lane presence early on, and then, yeah, Doombringer, who's probably going to farm up a lot of nice stuff. I think this game is going to be a lot of a battle about who actually gets the lane control, because EHOME with their heroes can really be present on all the lanes the whole time. And, well, when you look over at the Radiant side, Toby, who is going to deal with Brood?
I don't know, man. I do not know. And by the way, for HXC is actually there in the chat. Yeah, I was actually talking about the fact that Doombringer was picked up today, as of never been picked up before. I suppose they could be looking at Broodmother as far as Morphling's Wave to help you over it, but even that's not going to be enough damage to kill off their Spirelings once they're up at level 4. They really have nothing, bar unless they combine both Mirana as well as Morphling to try and stop this push. In the meantime, EHOME have actually ventured themselves down towards the Radiant side. It's going to be a good arrow! Long arrow on Anti-Mage, but it's also a fantastic triple stun here from QQ. It's not going to be enough, though, with Freezer as the Morphling. Funnily enough, not being frozen. Very, very fluent, right over the top of QQ's head, and picks up the first blood against the line.
Yeah, great initiation coming in there from Sizu on the TEG side. Hits 3 heroes with the Crystal Nova, getting a lot of good slows out. Setting up nicely for the Fissure by Coco, which blocks off. And yeah, they claim Lion in that. On topic of the Shaker, we've got a message in from Yort. We had the question about how Echo Slam actually works on Invis. And he says, although it does not affect them, Echo Slam bounces off invisible units. So the visible units will take the Echo Slam damage from the invisible ones present. So yeah. That is going to deal a lot of extra damage. Even with the Spiderlings invisible in the web, the Echo Slam effect will actually take place.
Okay, awesome. We learn something every single day as these fun mechanic questions which just trigger us up a little bit more. Okay, so let's check it out. Let's check out lanes and who's actually playing what. So we've got Nuz and X on the bottom lane. That's the Anti-Mage and Lich are about to get ganked again. It's a great fissure. Morphling waves up to the other side of the fissure, so there's nowhere to run back out apart from Anti-Mage blinking himself away, but X is dead inside the trees again. So we lose another hero for EHOME on that bottom lane. This time it does go to the support hero, Coco. But still, it's great pressure, and Morphling being involved with the first blood, which already gives him a ring of Basilius, but his support heroes getting those kills as well in the bottom lane.
Yeah, and talking about X, I'm really surprised we're seeing X, aka Dai, playing the supporting Lich. His specialty, in my opinion, will always be to play those active solo heroes who can really use their levels. So big surprise for me to see us actually taking the Windrunner and not X here. We'll see how he turns out as a support player, but for now his starting hasn't been too good. He's up against a lane in which they pretty much have no chance, but of course with the sacrifice ability will be able to get up some levels on himself and Nuz, or News, whatever we call him, and perhaps make a comeback on that bottom lane, while Lion is going to struggle on that top. Putting a Mirana against a Broodmother, who even has the support of a Lion played by 357, QQQ is his current alias, that's not what you want to do.
I'm not quite sure about the lanes. Like, would you think Anti-Mage would be better up on the top lane and Broodmother can move around inside the invis and force them to actually get those sentry wards? In fact, I think already they're ready for a bottom lane. We're going to go again. Another fissure goes. Anti-Mage will be able to blink himself away. X is already on the other side, so Coco just a little bit too late there with that fissure to lock Lich in place. But do you
Unfortunately,
think? Do you think they're ready for Broodmother to come down towards the bottom lane? Hence the 2 sentry wards.
Yeah, they are. I mean, and if EHOME have actually realized that there's 2 sentry wards on the back of Crystal Maiden, they're not going to be interested in sending Brood bottom, because the Broodmother is going to be locked down by Slow from Maiden, Frostbite, Fissure, and then Morphling. These guys can easily kill a Broodmother. Generally, you'd want to play a Broodmother either against a lane which doesn't have vision on you, or against a solo that can't handle you. And right now, it's definitely the latter that is the case. PCT will be pressuring Lion a lot. If he does not get up some sort of mana regen, he will have the Crystal Maiden aura, but it just doesn't cut it against a Broodmother putting constant pressure. Perfect Cat is going to be level 5 soon, and that's when the Ravage starts to come in. As for the middle lane, I think EHOME will have a pretty good time there. Windrunner up against Doombringer, even though Doombringer out-farming us big time in this middle lane. Did not expect that to come out.
Yeah, I'm actually just bringing up the CS scores right now. So it's 10-4 in the middle lane. Actually, it's
on bottom Lich.
What? Damn it!
And Morphling. That's the good old Toby. When we check the creep scores, something happens. But it's good to have 2 casters. Then I can yell Lich, and then Lich dies. But yeah, it was another good fissure coming in from Coco, Frost Nova, and then Morphling over the top. And Dai just has to be very careful. Dai needs to not die. Herp derp on that bottom lane. While Nuz tries to get up that little bit of farm that he can try to scavenge down here, but it's ever so hard for them. And the question is, well, right now EHOME are getting levels on the Lion by dual laning top and pulling. He has to make his way down towards that bottom lane and give them some sort of equilibrium there at some point. Maybe when he's level 6.
Hopefully he does, man, because at this point I'm just worried that there's just too much being lost for EHOME on the bottom lane as opposed to all the other lanes. For me, Broodmother and Mirage seem pretty balanced up there. Like, Broodmother's not out CSing, is definitely out leveling. There's an extra 1 level. Hello, another fissure thrown down towards the bottom. That's what clarity potions are for, or we actually have a mask there, a Sage mask. But like the top lane, it feels like PCT does actually have that extra little bit of balance, because Lion's been, we even now see him going down and picking up an Invis rune. Like, there's a lot of time he's missing out that lane, a lot of harassment, he's been forced back, and that's at least going the way of EHOME with the Broodmother. But then Come With Me is getting some decent farm in the mid. Windrunner needs to really make a little bit more of an impression on Doom, and Doom just keeps popping off bottle charges and harassing down. Lich could be a little bit more careful, frostbitten up here. ES will look for the fissure, and Morphling actually with the waveform gets the last hit. In fact, was that an adaptive strike? No, it was just the waveform. But they pick up another kill on bottom lane. This bottom lane just getting out of control for EHOME.
Oh, Doom is going to be thrown in mid by Come With Me. He's going to run straight in for us. He does have the level advantage here, level 6 against level 5.
He's got him.
And yeah, he's going to get us here. Actually misses the hit, but it's going to be all right anyway. Come With Me claims that kill. 5-0 for TEG. But before that happened, I was about to say, this is not the X we know. His presence on the bottom lane, he keeps getting into trouble. Is he not familiar with this role?
Normally he's the initiator. He doesn't play this role at all. I think that was actually one of the big discussions about how EHOME haven't just gelled after they lost a couple of their players. They lost their hard carry player. And people are in roles which they don't want to be in. They just don't have these roles which they're so suited to actually play. X, in all times, if Lion was ever picked for EHOME, X would be playing it. It wouldn't be 3-5-7 on the top lane. It just makes no sense whatsoever. And now we're going to see Lion actually going one-on-one with Mirana. Just see this army of spiders just coming in. But they're just going to rotate around. I think it's a real troublesome thing here for EHOME to try and find some form of balance. But in this game too, even though they're five kills behind, Doom has got a kill on the Windrunner as well. The Morphling's getting a little bit of farm. I still think they're going to get outpushed by this Broodmother. I think it's going to be a real big problem for them.
It's definitely a ticking time bomb, and no matter whether they get outpushed or not, they're going to have to attend to that lane with some other hero. And that will open up the map. That's what I talked about in the start. The moment Broodmother puts in some pressure, the AM and Windrunner are going to have a lot easier time on their lanes farming up, and it's going to be hard for TEG to actually divert their forces correctly, because what is the correct way of doing it? That's going to be very hard for them. Looking over the gold graph right now, though, Toby, it's been going up and down a little bit, but definitely going towards the way of the Radiant. They've been leading the whole game.
Stunned first, power shotted as well, turned into a frog, and now is basically a French delicacy. Lion does actually kill him. First blood for EHOME. They should have a sound effect for that.
Yeah, the gold graph still 1,500 plus for the Radiant, so they're off to a really good start. But in those calculations, you always need to remember Doombringer gets extra gold with that Devour. So if you discount that, we might be down to 1,000.
X gone again. Starts with a Nova, goes with a Frostbite. Freeze actually got very low mana right now, and Anti-Mage should be forced to blink away. He would have loved to be level 6 just then. But Freeze is able to stand his ground.
Also, not sure if you actually saw that, but I was looking at AM, and he had used a lot of gold, and I was like, all right, what did he buy? He couldn't afford a Ring of Health, could he? And he actually buys 2 salves and 3 tangos. That just goes to show how pressured Nuz is in that lane.
Oh, wow.
And there we go.
That was...
Now it's going to be trouble.
A kill now for Broodmother, who was already farming up. He was using his Soul Ring and then harassing with the Spiderlings, and he doesn't even want to push. He's using the moment to farm more, so QQQ is up there on the side, and he's just pulling while the Spiderlings take care of the next creep wave. There's just so much money coming in. Morphling gets a kill on the bottom lane against the Anti-Mage. That is not what they wanted. And how the hell are you killing Anti-Mage this early into the game?
He's only died once, and he must have been hit. He must have been trying to get a bit of farm when he took some damage, and then Fissure comes out of nowhere. CM comes in for both spells, and then Morphling is level 7 now. He must have been level 6 at that kill. But still, Waveform does a lot of damage. How did Anti-Mage skill? He's got 2 in Spell Shield. So his current magic resistance is 50%. So he takes quite a lot of spell damage. Well, not a lot of spell damage. That was the wrong way of putting it. He takes half damage from spells, but with his low HP pool of only 650, it still makes a big difference when a waveform comes in over your head for 300.
Mm-hmm.
And when they couple up the spells nicely and a couple of right clicks, that's going to be it. AM will need to be full HP all the time.
Welcome to a couple right now. CM wants to come through the rear. X actually held in place by a Fissure right now. Freezer comes up. They're fighting on top of the tower. That's actually not what they want to do it. But Lich does go down in the end. Morphling able to pick that off. So Lich just being pinned in the corner. Anti-Mage gets to live.
And X 0 and 5 in 9 minutes. I don't think I've ever seen this before.
We're going to go again. Anti-Mage got to blink himself away. He's hiding on the tower. He's got to blink himself into the trees. Coco with the initial stun with the totem. Doesn't have that Fissure back again. There goes the Frost. The Frost actually having its effect, and then Nuz managed to blink away. 1 Fissure to start. Morphling waves up, and this will be the death of Anti-Mage. Morphling with even more. That's 7-0 for the Morphling in the bottom lane.
That is not what you want. I mean, Morphling is also, and that's something we actually haven't really talked about yet, the Morphling as a response to Brood. Because Brood, obviously, with that great lane presence is dangerous, but as we've seen countless times primarily in earlier versions of Dota, but also actually at the International when Lakel's played it for Myth Trust, if you get a good start on a Morphling, your lane presence, you'll constantly be pushing with Waveform, you'll have Replicate and Waveform to get away with, and you've got that Morph spell to heal up yourself when the fight starts. It's going to be very hard to deal with for EHOME, and 7-0, Toby, that's not going to be a Morphling, that's going to be... It's not just going to be Morphling trouble, it's going to be super Morphling trouble.
He's going to be unstoppable, man. The only way I can see this getting better for EHOME Like 9-3, that's a sickness, man. That's a sickness which you do need to actually have a prescription for. And the only one is PCT taking out these towers. He needs to bring down these towers, get the gold back into the pockets of EHOME so they can buy these items to get their Battle Fury up for Anti-Mage, to get something up which lets them stay. There goes our top tower, our first tier 1, but it can't stop there. They need to bring down these frontal towers to give some space for the Anti-Mage to farm, to give the space for Lion to actually move around and initiate, for Windrunner to do the same form of thing, and then they can actually try and go toe-to-toe. You can catch out the Doombringer, you can catch out the Mirana, the ES, the CM. Morphling's going to be a pain in the absolute arse to actually kill anyway, but they can really, really control this map. But it's all going to come through where the push comes from.
Come with me is going to go on QQQ in middle. Lion has already taken down Zizou with that Finger of Death, but the Doom is on the back of him. Come with me. Scorched Earth level 4 is chasing him through. There's a level death, and he's going to get denied by Ars. Nicely played by EHOME. They get a kill and a deny, and I don't think Ars is going to be in any trouble. No, he's not. But yeah, as you said, that AM, he's going to be in a lot of trouble, and he can't really go for a Battle Fury this game because it's going to be so delayed that if Frieza and on that Morphling and the rest of the boys decide to actually fight rather than farm, if AM has a Battle Fury, he's fish food. He has.
Look how much damage he's taking already. Yeah. It's ridiculous. How does an AM in 12 minutes in have a CS of 8 for nil?
He's got to get up a Vanguard. It's the only way he can actually come back and fight a bit, because if he goes for a Battle Fury, first of all, it's probably going to be a 30-minute one at least. And second of all, it's just not going to help, because he's going to get ganked everywhere. I mean, if you look at his hit points right now, Doom can solo kill him at this point. It's just too risky. He has to go for that Vanguard, and, well, Battle Fury just is a great item. You'll usually get it if you get off to a really good start. He did not in this game.
Lion trouble on top, leaps away the Dustos because it was bait. Coco is here, will pop the fissure, and PCT gets caught out. The man with 2 Oblivion staffs almost got that Orchid up. Will actually go down the top lane. Good ganking and good presence up there by TEG.
Yeah, nice bait there. They knew that Broodmother, all right, he's been pressuring that that Mirana the whole game, and all right, we put in a Shaker in the forest to hide him there. We've got CM on the back end with a Dust, and the moment the initiation came, it was a good response. So nicely played there by TG, playing a little bit of mind games on EHOME here as well. Broodmother thought he was in a very good position there, very confident, and now he might have to think twice next time.
That he might have to. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Coco's going to come in, going to drop a fissure, and it's actually a good shackle to hold. Come with me in place. Lion will chain up with a stump. The Doom now going on top of Lion. He's trying to go back up onto the high ground. The Starfall might have been enough damage to put him through, but it's actually been the level death from Come With Me. Dooming with me, the Lion in the middle lane. And it'll be Windrunner and Lich just to basically sit up in the back end. Lich is still not level 6, so we don't have that ultimate up. I cannot believe that Doom is actually almost 2 levels, twice the amount of levels above a Lich, and we're only 13 minutes into the game. Doom's almost 12.
Yeah, he's got a massive advantage right now with all this.
Arrow, great fissure! Well. Beautiful, dead.
TG definitely going mobile right now with their supports, and even with Mirana, and it's paying off greatly for them. Opening up the map a little bit for the Anti-Mage though, but I mean, look at Frieza right now. He's keeping him at bay alone, and as if it wasn't enough that Frieza's almost got a 14-minute Lincolns, he's also got the Replicate to throw on Anti-Mage, and that's going to feed back him as well. So the mana break of the Replicate obviously works, and once AM starts skilling that up, he's got to be very careful not to get burnt by his own illusion from Morphling.
Yeah, this is. There's got to be a change. There's got to be a change. The whole Broodmother pushing down one lane is not going to work. I think they know. I think EHOME know this as well. You can try and push down that tier 2 tower, and sure, he might succeed at one point, but it's going to take him about 10 minutes before he's going to get towards that point. I think we need to see a bit of a change up from EHOME. Be a Broodmother go down bot. Anti-Mage has a little bit more freedom up on the top lane with the support of Lion, where at this point, it's Anti-Mage on bottom lane going one-on-one with Frieza with the support of Lion. The stun's going to go. Hex as well. She better get this finger off, but it's going to be a good ES stun. It might have bought enough time. In fact, it did actually buy enough time for Morphling to move back. So I don't know if they're actually thinking about going finger as well as a gank just then, but that could have been enough to get the kill.
Yeah, it was definitely the plan from EHOME to try to take down Morphling, but I actually don't think he would have died even without the fissure anyway. When we look at AM's damage output, he basically tickled the Morphling because Morphling's got 10 armor and the mana break is only level 1. So AM's damage output is ridiculously low. He's gone for a tanking build to try to farm and have some sort of lane presence. But that just means that this is probably not the lane to go and make action on. They've got to do something somewhere else. But where do you go? Doombringer mid, 1600 health, Mirana top, 1000 health and a leap. It's not easy for EHOME right now.
Yeah, it's really difficult. Maybe with that Orc of the Malevolence up, we might see something a little bit different. Be hard for ES to get any form of ultimate off. Even shutting down Doom to a certain extent might be able to help out, but I really, really want to see just how much more pressure can be done. And now even then it's been changed up. So I think they realise that Morphling will want to add pressure. How do we delay him? Let's throw Morphling up. Broodmother wants to add pressure. Let's throw Morphling up on the top lane.
It also releases Potom to, Mirana to allow her to move
Lion
in, do something
caught out
else.
Coco. We'll see a Frost as well. Turn him into a frog. And it's a free kill towards EHOME.
The free kill comes the other way as well, though. Come With Me is going to drop the Doom on that Windrunner. Lion leaps over the top, gets that double Starfall off, and snatches the Haste Rune right in front of Windrunner. So not only gets the kill, but also gets the 16-minute rune here. And Lion actually looking in not too bad of a shape, considering his lane. He's actually got 76 CS. Highest CS in the game is on the back of Broodmother, but then you've got to look very far for a good creep score on EHOME. The second biggest is 50, while there's 3 heroes on the Radiant above the 75 mark.
On the bright side for
Take a look at the
EHOME,
gold graph. Take a look at that gold graph.
I don't want to, man. I really don't like bringing this up during games like this because you realize that it's just slowly going the way of one team, and it just ever so increases. But for me, this game is a little bit more than just who can actually get the farm. Like, sure, we're going to see a massively fast Lincoln Sphere on the Morphling. Sure, we're going to see these kind of things, but are we going to get to the point where now we see an Orc of the Malevolence coming up on PCT? PCT might be able to really change this game around. In fact, already now popping up the Insatiable Hunger, running in towards the bottom top lane, and probably will just go straight on Coco. In fact, he is in fact going to do that. 3 hits, 1 Spiderling charge, throws down the web, will easily pick off this kill, and then give more pressure towards the top lane. Life is easy, using the Orc of the Malevolence to ensure that kill.
Yeah, nicely done by PCT, popping that Insatiable Hunger very far away to not blow his invisibility using it. Coco did not realize it was coming, and Broodmother comes out of nowhere with high damage output, and of course the Orchid Malevolence to deal that extra 25% damage, and of course the 5-second silence, which is the primary ability of that item to lock down Coco there. Nicely done.
Yeah, I love the fact too now the Lion's also up here on the top lane. It means Lion, and I mean Lion as in Lion being the hero Lion, as opposed to Lion, the player who's playing Mirana. But Mirana is forced to hold back past the Tier 1 tower, realizing there's a stun and there's a Hex, and that will buy more than enough time for Broodmother to finish Mirana's life off. So life becomes a lot easier for Broodmother up there in that top lane. That Sentry Wall is also worn off on that top, so PCT has a lot more space to move.
Look at that bottom lane. Morphling keeping Lich and AM at bay. Freezer's actually even going to dive in for X here. Nice Duke coming out of X, and we might actually see a turnover here. Freezer way in his head. And that is the price you pay for greeting in like that if the kill fails. Huge kill for EHOME.
Yeah, to bring down the Morphling, and not just to bring down the Morphling, but it was Anti-Mage. You got the last hit, I believe. No, it wasn't. It was actually
The Dire.
It was a Dire, so it was actually split. Well, that's a shame. If it was to Anti-Mage, it'd be like, hell yeah! You end a spree like that. How much money do you just share? 150? What 1,500? How much was it? I didn't actually read it.
Still not all that bad. I think the kill was 505 gold split. And, well, Antimage, because of that, finishes off his Vanguard and gets Boots of Speed, so now his farming is going to start up.
Oh, PCT, top lane. The Lion is there to kill the other Lion. The man who is an imposter with the LY. And now actually a little bit of trouble. It's a good Frost, it's a good Fissure, and there goes CM. Oh. What the hell? Why drop the Echo?
Slamming.
In the meantime, middle lane's also having trouble. Arse is running away from the Tier 1 tower. Or mainly actually from Come With Me. X was there in support, but in the end we do see another trade.
Yeah, some nice quotes coming out of Doombringer as well when he gets those kills. Earlier on in the game we already heard when he bags a kill with level death he laughs and goes, "A demon's luck with numbers." And this time around, mess with Doom and you get the horns. Giving a clear message to us, you don't want to mess with me. If you go in too far, I'm going to punish you. And it's going to be a lot easier to Come With Me the next time as well, because he's actually got the gold for the Sacred Relic now, Toby.
That he does. In fact, that's exactly where he's walking to pick it up. I also want to give a bit of a reminder out there to people. Hey, that's a new one. Let's not walk all the way into the shop. Walk into the tree so I don't have to go around and then into the shop to then actually buy up. It's kind of like the Roshan kind of thing, which you can't do in the world of Dota 2. In the meantime, Tier 2 tower goes down as well. I don't know if you actually knew about that one, Sin.
The way Come With Me went into buy his item?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that actually exists in Dota 1. It puzzled me a little bit as well. But I think they've tried to replicate the forest. I think it's got the same the terrain is the same. I'm not sure though. PCT's going to go on Lion, or well, as we've been told from the chat, it's actually pronounced Leon. So that's going to help us at separating him from the Lion.
Hex! Trouble! Right over the top was Morphling, and he just basically adaptive strike. He thought that was enough! The stick charges from Lion, and then the double stun on Come With Me and Morphling. They are trying to run after him. Those phase boots are pumping. Lion goes high, and Doom runs mid.
That's the 357 we know. Nice juke as well. And Frieza was taken completely by surprise there. Obviously, Adaptive Strike doesn't really deal much damage when you've only got it on level 1. And a nice play coming out there from QQ Crew 357.
Anti-Mage trouble. He's already doomed up. He wasn't expecting Morphling. He thought he could run back past the Doombringer. He is now currently stuck. Doom about to be wear off. The Adaptive Strike actually not taking enough damage to kill off Anti-Mage. Gotta love that spell resistance of 4. Then the blink up. Very, very hard hero to kill the Anti-Mage at any stage of the game, even with Morphling and Doombringer on the chase. But of course, while that's happening, Brood's on the top. The distraction's actually coming from the other 4 members, and Haas on the run! The Windrunner is there.